There are a lot of things people just don't know. Yeah.
Yeah. Do you think you'll have been a pastor if not for your prison experience?
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
I was a pastor when I was about 5, 6 years old.
Okay.
A lot of people don't know that.
Wow, I never knew. Okay.
So
Tell
my
us
first
about
calling
it.
was pastoral. Yeah, a lot of people don't know this. That's why they have to wait for my book that is coming out this year to know where I started from. Yes.
Okay.
I started as a pastor before I was a dancer, before I was a musician. I started as a pastor.
At what age was that?
5.
5. Wow. Okay. As can a 5-year-old be a pastor, or would you say you gave your life to Christ at that age?
No, I was a preacher at that age.
Okay.
I used to set up table. I used to set up table and stand behind the table and preach.
In church, in school?
And I used to at home.
Okay. Okay. Well, you've been preaching since the age of 5. That's one thing we didn't know about you. That came as a shocker to me, actually.
There are a lot of things you don't know. There are a lot of things you don't know about me. There are a lot of things that people just don't know. Yeah.
Yeah, I can imagine that. I can imagine that. So now tell us, if you started preaching back then, I mean, you said in school, in church, at home, how then did you get into music? How did you become a dancer? And when you were dancing, were you still preaching? Tell us about that bit.
No, I guess I branched off.
Okay.
Or you like, I fell off, and entertainment took over. So growing up, I thought now I wanted to be an entertainer, which I went on to be and be a very successful entertainer. You know, but at the back of my mind, I used to tell my friends that one day, when I'm done with being an entertainer, I'll go back to being a pastor.
All right. So you meant that being a pastor was more of a retirement package to you then?
That's what I thought.
Okay.
What I thought. You see, the point was that I didn't want to, at the peak of my entertainment career, I just didn't want to go into the pastoral work, because in my mind, I was saying that let me be so successful so that when I move into pastoral work, it will not be because somebody would say he wasn't successful as an entertainer. Okay. And now he has turned into a pastor.
Okay. You were thinking for
so that was my mind. Yes, that was my mindset. You see, but God had his own plans and in his own time. Right. So that is how the transition came about.
Okay. All right. So when everything happened, I found yourself in prison, and during that era, at what point did that calling start coming back? Or tell us the experience a bit.
Oh, it was day one, right from the very day.
Okay.
The very day that I got
Before we
trouble.
go into that, before we get into that, after you got into trouble and went through the whole court case, when the pronouncement was made, how did you feel at that moment? I'm sure it's a moment you can never forget.
Disappointment, obvious disappointment, but I wasn't moved because I had now connected fully with God at the time of the remand. I stayed in remand for 16 months, and that's
60
16
or
months
16?
I had fully 1-6.
1-6. Okay, 16. Okay, 16. All right.
Yeah. Yeah. So by the time that pronouncement came, I was solid with the Lord. And like I said, disappointed, but not dejected.
So you went in there already, should I say, not reformed, but realigned? I mean, you went into prison, realigned, all right, okay. So now, with all this, so when you got in there, how did you then start growing, developing? Because I'm sure a lot of people say, oh, there is time so you can study the Bible, but I believe it goes beyond that. How did you start developing all the into the pastor that you are today?
Well, it's through studying, basically, because obviously one of the things that you have in the inside that you don't have on the outside is time. So, and everything, you've been stripped of everything. Everything is taken away from you.
Okay.
The only thing you have is your Bible, right? I mean, your very life has been taken away from you.
Yeah.
And so you have nothing to hold on to but God.
Okay, so when you came out at that point, were you planning to get into full-time ministry? Were you thinking of still doing your own music on the side, but loving God, being a good Christian? What were your plans when you were coming out?
Oh, I started the ministry right from day one inside. I knew that the time had come. I knew it. And I knew that, there is nothing that I could do except the work of God.
Okay.
I knew it. Yes.
Okay. All right. So you came out ready to start a church.
Yeah.
So when you came out, what was the reception like? Were churches vying to get you work for them, or were they pushing you away? I mean, generally, family and friends.
No, they were very negative when I came out. It was very negative. You know how people associate prison with, especially in Ghana. Over here, there's nothing.
Yeah.
But over there, yeah. So it was very tough. I remember that I had an encounter with one of the big pastors in Ghana. And the man was so negative. I'd gone to see him with a proposal for a TV channel that somebody had offered me.
Okay.
And I just needed him to be on that channel.
All right.
To play his, because TVs were not common like they are today. This was in 2009. Okay. He rather told me to come and join the prison ministry in his church.
He confined you. And how did you feel back then when that happened?
I was not surprised at all. Because I knew that man's mindset. I've heard him make certain pronouncements on radio, and I knew his mindset. So personally, I did not want to meet him. But I had somebody in my fellowship that kept telling me, oh, he's a good man, go and see him. He's a good man, go and see him. So I just took the chance to go and meet him. And he was totally out of order.
Yeah, he just
if I mention his name right now, you'll be shocked to the core.
He's one of the big. He's one of the Christian Big Six.
He's one of the big two.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Now you set my mind wondering.
That's it. He's one of the big two.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
I won't mention names so to box you on a corner. We'll just leave it at that. So afterwards, how did you then proceed to becoming a a pastor? How did you pick it up?
Oh, I had to leave and relocate back here in the States. And it is here that I got ordained. Because that time I was working as an evangelist. When I came out, I did my national service for 1 year in Ghana, and then I had to leave.
Okay. So you did your national service after you came out from prison?
Yeah.
All right. Why? Did you go through education in prison, or was it before you went to prison that you did the education?
My national service was my own Jesus national service.
Your what?
Jesus national service.
Okay. All right. So you did that for 1 year in Ghana, then you relocated here to the States. Okay, I see.
Yeah.
And why the choice of the States? Were you already a citizen there? Is it where you had a fan base? And was it why not the UK? Why not Canada?
When I was in Saum, the Lord had revealed to me that my next location would be here.
Okay.
So I knew that it was here. And that's how I came. Yeah.
Okay. Not that you had any what's it called? Prior engagement, maybe the citizenship or anything before you relocated?
No.
No, it wasn't your choice. Okay. So now getting to the States.
No, it was my choice in conjunction with my Father in heaven.
Being a pastor in the States, let's look at it from two ways. First of all, how different is it from being a pastor in Ghana here? How different is being a pastor in the States from being a pastor here?
Oh, it's a huge difference.
Okay, tell us about it.
You understand? It's a huge difference. Over here, people have what they will eat. Even if you don't work, you get governmental support.
Okay.
So people don't go to God because they don't have what they will eat, or because they are in hardship.
Okay.
If somebody decides to give their life to God, it's because they want to give their life to God. It's not because they are looking for a visa. It's not because they are looking for a breakthrough or medicine, because they can't afford to buy medicine here.
Okay.
If you're sick, you go to the hospital. So people who give their lives to God here really wants to give their lives to God. That's the difference.
It's not out of necessity or compulsion.
No,
it's out of a desire.
Yeah, that's it. Wow. So those who don't believe, don't believe. Those who believe, believe.
Okay. Tell us, you've been a pastor for how long?
I was ordained in 2013.
2013. Okay. All right.
Yes.
How's the 7-year journey been thus far?
Great. Great. Yes,
okay.
God has been faithful. God has been faithful.
Starting up, what was it like starting up? Did you launch out to start your own church, or you served under some people?
I see, as an evangelist, I was still serving under a church.
Okay.
And when I was ordained, then I started my own ministry.
Thus far, I mean, in the last, let's say 6 years, how's the ministry? What are the highlights? What are the highlights of being a Christian in the U.S.? Some of the achievements or successes you've chalked, some of the challenges you faced. Tell us a bit about it. Let's get into your world.
Well, basically, I just do what I have to do for the Lord. Success is judged by the master. I don't judge success because I'm not in for success. Okay. I'm not success driven. You understand?
Yeah.
I wait for the day that I'll stand before the master, and only he can say, "Well done, faithful and good servant." So mine is to do what I can do and leave the rest to God. So if you ask me to talk about success, I'm not in this business driven by success. No.
Right. And what about the
I take
challenges?
one day at a time and give God the glory.
Okay. What about the challenges?
Oh,
Christians can learn from that.
the usual challenges will always be here. The Bible has told us. But he says, if you go through the waters, I am with you. So he's always with us. So I don't even look at challenges. I am grateful to the Lord for every single day of my life.
Right. Okay. Okay.
What I can tell you today is that I am blessed by the living God. I am so blessed. I live a better life today than I have ever lived in my life.
Mm. Mm.
So if you want to quantify that as success, then yes, hallelujah, I am successful.
Before you got to the state, you had never been married, had you?
I was married before I went to Insaum.
Insaum, okay. And you still with the same woman, or you remarried in the States?
No, she left me in Insaum.
Oh, that's a story for another day, I guess. But I mean, let's just tell us a bit about
Yeah.
that. She never visited you, or she
That
used to,
look,
or
let me tell you something.
all
I
right,
have a book coming out. Like I
okay.
said, there's a book coming out this year.
Mm,
All right. That would detail everything,
mm.
because the story of my life is not something you can even pack into a 5 hour interview.
Interview,
It's
yes.
just too loaded.
Mm.
Okay. So anytime I bring something up and you say, go with us, we'll be here till tomorrow morning.
Just you
So
know what? So let's use this as a sneak peek to your book. Just tell us a little bit, like 2 minutes of what happened in
yeah,
your
I
one.
mean,
Never
basically,
visited or what?
listen, basically, you know, people who go through the things that I went through,
Yes.
maximum is 5 years. If you're married, you will lose your marriage.
Mm.
You understand?
Mm.
Yes.
Okay.
Because the pressure from family and friends will be like, why are you sitting there waiting for this man? He's never coming back. So move on with your life. And that is what happened. So
Okay.
I remarried when I came to the States.
Okay.
Um, Unfortunately, she also passed
Oh.
3 years ago.
Oh. Condolence in that.
Yes. So at the moment I'm single, and I'm waiting for God's time to
Mm.
remarry.
Okay. All right. Well, you have
Yeah.
kids with her, or you have kids with any of them?
Yes, with my first wife we have one,
One.
and then
Okay.
I have one adopted.
Moving on, you've been a secular artist and a successful one at that. Looking back and at secular artist or should I say world music, not the world music the way Grammy calls it, but world music from the Christian point of view. Um, is it is it antichrist to be a worldly musician? Taking into
Oh
consideration
yeah.
that it's not everything that is hip hop. We have the inspirational music artists. We have those that sing about love, but not about sex. And you have all those people. Is it antichrist to venture into secular music? Must every musician be a gospel artist?
Um, it's not every song that is demonic influenced.
Mm,
Okay. But it's two things. It's either you belong to the light or you belong to darkness.
mm,
So sometimes when you categorize it that way, people think that you are condemning everything. I don't condemn every song that is not a gospel song. But there's definitely songs that glorifies God, and there are songs that glorify the devil.
mm.
So you just have to know where you are. See, the thing is, there's no middle ground. There is no gray area. You see that it's black or it's white.
Okay.
Are you getting it?
Yeah. Mm.
Yeah.
Okay. When is your book coming out?
hmm
When is your book coming out?
Sometime this year. As a matter
Sometime
of
this
fact,
year.
I'm finishing it this weekend.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah, I'm finishing this weekend.
There are. Do you mind me knowing how old you are now?
I'm in my 50s.
In your 50s. Okay. I thought it was only women that don't disclose their age.
Yeah. Men equally don't.
I see. Okay. All right.
It's a trade secret.
A trade secret. Okay. Okay.
Get
Great.
yeah, gets you get people to guess. You
Mm,
know, people have
mm,
given me all manner of age group, and sometimes
mm.
it's interesting.
Well, thank you so much for speaking to us. We truly, truly appreciate it.
I'm also excited to have connected with you guys for what you're doing to promote the kingdom of God. I would say just keep on keeping on. Like you rightly said, there are wolves that are in sheep clothing and they
Exactly.
are tarnishing the name of the kingdom.
Mm,
And we need to do everything to fight back and hold high the banner of Christ.
that's it.
So for some of us, we are not in here for the money, but we are here
Mm,
because we know what God has done in our lives.
that's it.
And we
That's
have
it.
become witnesses to his goodness and fullness. God is still in the miracle working business. If he can
Mm-hmm.
bring somebody from death row to a place of prominence,
Mm-hmm.
then God is able to do all things. You just have to align yourself with God, and the rest will fall in pleasant places.